going on, everybody? We're here, we're in the simulator. We're going to talk more about practice. Today we're going to focus on a specific area of your game and how I would say a good practice session would go if you were working on that particular skill. Hey everybody, Scott Hogan coming at you. We're here in the studio. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for watching our previous video on practice. Thank you for the comments and feedback. And actually we had a lot of comments going with, hey, would you continue with that series and go over different areas of the game, which was my intention. So we're all on the same page there. I wanted to kind of show you a little bit of what a practice session in general should look like, and then I wanted to go over specific areas of the game and start saying, hey, this is where you should be focusing if you really want to get better. And this is what really good players are doing to get better. They're not just getting out there and hitting shots, which is what I did back when I used to play. I just used to think if I go out and hit balls and just hit it a lot and go do this and do that, I would get better, but I never had any idea about what I wanted to improve, what things should be, and ultimately never got a whole lot better, even though I practiced every day for a couple of years. It just doesn't work that way. So if we're gonna get better, we have to do a couple of things, and we're gonna do that with wedge play today. So stay tuned. Before we do that, make sure you click that subscribe button if you're not a subscriber already, and we're gonna have much more on different areas of the game. Also, make sure you leave a comment down below if you have a certain area you wanna work on and you wanna know how you can get better. Let me know, and I will make sure we address it in future videos. And also, if you like the video, just give it a thumbs up. That always does help. All right, so let's get into wedge play here. So what we're gonna do today, the first goal, again, if you watched Friday's video on practice, if you didn't, go back and watch it because we're gonna talk about a lot of that stuff, and I'm just gonna go through it. But the first thing we have to do is define what kind of practice session we're doing. Now, it's winter time. I think it's very important to work on your wedge game in the winter. You have the numbers available to you. You can really dial this in. This is the part that you can get dialed in the most, in my opinion, so I love to work on it. We are gonna do what we call a technical practice today. Okay, so the technical practice is gonna be because we're gonna work on hitting one type of shot. We're gonna try to just master some sort of shot. We're gonna master a number up on the screen and be able to apply that into different scenarios later, which will then change what type of practice we're doing. So today with wedge play, if you want to work on your wedges, the thing that you should work on the most is your launch angle, okay? Launch angle to me has a huge influence on what's going on in the rest of your game. Now there's other things we can do in wedge play, but I love to see people work on hitting the ball the same height. Now, on the PGA Tour, there is a number of 30 degrees of launch angle. That's, kind of the holy grail in wedge play that people try to hit. For our purposes, you don't have to hit 30. 30, there's a lot that goes into that. There is a lot where, hey, I am trying to have really good contact, I have brand new equipment, all that stuff. That stuff plays into that 30-degree number. For us, what we want to see is us be consistent at a certain number. Now, if you can get that number below 42 or 40 degrees, I think you're going to be in good shape. But if you start seeing it get up to 45, 50, I've seen 55, 60 on a full swing, you better be trying to launch it high on purpose, or else you're gonna really struggle making consistent contact or making the ball go the same distance all the time, and that's not what we want. That's the number one thing I see people struggle with when they're around the greens or hitting wedges. They're like, oh, I got my 60 degree, I'm gonna hit it, and I got a 90-yard shot, and then they hit it, and the thing rides up the face and launches super high, and I'm watching it like there's no chance, and then they're shocked that the ball comes up short. So we don't wanna see that. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to work on actually trying to hit it about 50 yards, okay? I'm going to work on 50 yards for this shot and see what I can do to hit a 50-yard shot, and let's see what my launch angle is with that shot, okay? That probably is a little deep. Yeah, it's going to be about 60 yards. But let's see what the launch angle is on that. 64. I'm looking at carry number, by the way, 64. Launched, that one said 36 degrees. So we're gonna we'll read it off as we go through here. So 36 degrees on the launch there. So I'm gonna try another one here. And I'm gonna see that, you can see that ball got up a little bit, and so it flew through the air a little bit more. Let's see if we can launch this thing a little bit lower. There we go. And then, by the way, it was 6,000 RPMs on the last one. Now, I pulled that one a little bit. I think that's something just to pay attention to. So I launched that one at 28.5, hit it 60 yards. Last one was 64, okay? And what I'm starting to find is I'm hitting it lower and lower, and I just can't keep that ball from going too far. This is my 54-degree wedge. I'm gonna switch it over to a 60-degree wedge because I'm just getting a little, it's just coming off a little too fast. And so we're gonna start trying to bring it back down. So I should see this go a little higher, but I'm gonna try not to have it go too high. There's our 50 degrees, right? Our 50 yards right there. So I hit a really good shot. I kind of figured out where I'm at. I hit it 49 yards, 5,000 RPMs of spin, and we wanna go back and look. I didn't catch the spin on that, or the launch angle on that one. So let's go back, let's take a look. 38 degrees of launch for that shot. We do have a couple players, so the one that's popping up there is a little bit off, but that one still said 38 as well. So 38 degrees for me with a 60 degree, with a ball that's less than premium and a less than new wedge. My wedge is not new, so that's going to make the ball go a little higher. So 38 degrees is where I see, hey, I hit a good 50-yard carry shot. It carried 49, okay? I also noticed that the ball hit right about here, right at the top of my white part of my screen before we get to the black part. So my focus is on, I'm going to try and get to where I can hit that every time. I've now kind of set my baseline of what I'm working on. Now, what are some of the technical things that I can control that are going to affect where that ball hits? Let's say you're hitting the ball too high, okay? Let's say maybe you're hitting it too low. That's usually not the case, but usually it's too high. Well, the first thing I would check is ball position. If I have the ball way too far forward in my stance, that's going to send it up high. Now, I can start moving it back. That's not always going to be the end-all, be-all solution. There's usually something that we have to be able to do in our golf swing as well. The second thing I want to look at is, am I able to take loft off of the golf club? You know, if this is how my 60 degree sits at address, can I take some loft off of that club? Okay, that's another thing that we want to look at. How would I do that? Well, the first thing I would do is kind of keep my hands loose and really feel the weight of the club head just dropping in to the golf ball. So I might not be accelerating super fast here. I might not be trying to put as much possible speed with my hands like I would a driver into a wedge shot. It's more important to keep it under control height-wise, again, that launch angle, than it is to swing really hard, because even if you swing hard, you're just going to hit it higher and the ball's not going to go anywhere. The other thing I'm going to make sure I do when I do this is not only have those dead feeling with my hands and the weight of the club head, I'm going to make sure my body faces where I want to go. So I have a little bit of a feel that my body leads this motion, okay? And that one I really clipped. Maybe even a hair thin. Let's see. Actually, I clipped it so pure, 5,800 RPMs of backspin. That one I clipped it 36 degrees of launch. That was interesting. I just clipped that one like right off the deck, so don't know if I could do that ever again. But those are the things that I'm kind of thinking out. It's like, all right, hey, if I'm hitting it too high, I'm going to make sure my ball is a little bit back in my stance. I'm going to make sure I have a feeling of nice and dead weight with the club going through. This is where something like the Orange Whip short game wedge really helps with that. The other thing I'm going to feel is I want to make sure my body keeps moving through the shot, because if my body stops, the club has to flip. Again, on a driver, we see a little more of that as you're trying to pick up speed and launch the ball higher with a driver, typically. Here, we're not necessarily trying to do that. So we're going to see if we can make this club Just stay low and go. That one was up there a little higher. And you could hear that by the sound. That ball got up there just above the white strip. So let's see what we get there. Okay, 38. So it was a little higher. So yeah, very cool. By the way, I think I read that line with the lower one wrong. It wasn't 36, it was actually lower. It was 28 degrees. So I just realized I was looking at the wrong one. So anyway, that's what we start looking at with wedge play. If you're gonna start practicing, I highly recommend you do this. And then what I would do from there is once I've established my baseline at 50 yards, let's take it again and see if we can, if you hit 10 shots within, let's say, a 3-degree launch window. So if my baseline's 38, so I've got to be, 36 and a half up to 39 and a half, okay? If I can do that, then what I'm going to do is switch my yardage, okay? And this is how I know I'm gotten done with something. And let's take it down to like 30 yards. That went 25, didn't get it all the way there. But let's see if I can keep a consistent launch. That one went to 41, ball came up short, right? Ball came up short. So I've got to keep it down. I can't let the club pop up. So I have to keep moving my body. That was a little better on, I think, the launch. Let's see. 36, that's much better. And then I just got to hit it harder, okay? So you can see we're just going through a process here. That one's a little higher. I hit it a little harder though. We're going through a little process here of pairing together factors that are going to affect our shots. I hit 36 there. Okay, launched a little higher. All right, here we go. There we go. That was deeper, probably 40 yards, 40-degree launch. Again, kind of rose up there a little bit on me. All right, now, if you can practice these things and start working on it again, try and get yourself dialed in on a daily basis where you're just thinking about, all right, I want to hit that number at your launch. There's not a predetermined number. Everybody's going to be different. But again, I would say if you're getting up above 45, that's pretty high. So you want to keep that ball down. If you want to see yourself shoot lower scores, you have to hit better wedges. That's just a given. And if you're going to do that, this is what players are working on. They are working on launch angle first. They want us to get that launch angle dialed in, not see the ball rise, not see the ball drive in too low. They want to see it going at a consistent height. That's what they use to control their distances and the spin rate that you can put on these shots. So give it a try. Get yourself out there practicing your wedges. Start thinking about, all right, what's your goal going to be with your launch angle? How are you going to do that with some of the factors that affect that in our swing? And then seeing if you can do it to your completion goal. Again, I would say a 3-degree window, 10 shots in a row within that window might be a real big challenge, but if you can do it, you're going to be a much better wedge player, shooting a lot lower scores, getting up and down more, and taking advantage of those good birdie chances when they do come up. So let me know if you have any questions down below. This is Wedge Play Practice. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We will catch you in the next video.